11 things that are surprising to people when they move to Houston. Watch till the end. My name is Mariam Hejazi. I have been helping people buy and sell residential real estate for over 12 years, and I have been loving Houston since 1987. All right, let's get into it. So, first of all, Houston is gigantic. Houston is huge. LA is really big. New York is really big. But Houston is also massive. It's over 640 square miles and it's growing every day, every week, every month. There's always a new subdivision going in, there's always a redevelopment project. The traffic, number two. Houstonians joke that Houston is an hour away from Houston. At rush hour, it could take you an hour and a half to get from Kingwood to Sugarland, which is like Kingwood is northeast and Sugarland is southwest. That could easily be over an hour and a half, if not longer. If you're trying to get from Galveston at rush hour to the Woodlands, first of all, do not even attempt this. But if you were to attempt it, you're looking at over 2 hours. If you go from Katy to downtown in the morning rush hour, you're looking at anywhere from 50 to 90 minutes. If you're looking at Tomball to downtown, you're looking at probably an hour and 15 minutes, depending on where you're coming from in Tomball. So if you're moving to Houston, ask your friends and family and ask me. Hopefully, I'll be your agent helping you with this. Ask about drive times because whoever's helping you should be highly knowledgeable in that because it can make or break the enjoyment of Houston. You will either love it or hate it. And I can tell you that if your commute is insane, it will be the bane of your existence. Three, the heat. Houston is sweltering. It is so hot. The only hotter place I've ever been in my entire life is Managua, Nicaragua. Everywhere else is not as hot as Houston, and do not underestimate the heat. In summer of 2023, August of 2023 to be specific, every single day in August, the actual temperature was triple digits and the heat index averaged over 115 degrees, which means it's the feel like factor. There was one day that I was hosting an open house on a glorious sunny Saturday in August of 2023. The actual temperature, I think, was 111 degrees, and it felt like 118 degrees. So the heat is brutal. It's hotter sometimes in the morning than it is in the afternoon. It just depends on the dew point and the humidity. The humidity is really what gets you here. It's not an 87 degree like pleasant day. If it's 87 degrees, it probably feels like 97 or 101. So just do not underestimate the heat if you're coming from anywhere not in the south. Just get ready. Flooding and floods. So Houston does flood. It's one of our many flaws. Houston's great for many reasons, but it does flood here. And unfortunately, some of our road systems, it's dug out, so it goes under roads in some underpass areas. And they have flood gauges. So if you've driven in Houston and you've seen like flood gauges, this is why. Because when these underpasses fill up, you forget how deep it is. And so you really our saying in Houston is turn around, don't drown. So it does flood. And if you're looking at houses here, it's important to ask, has this house flooded? If it has flooded, what flood did it flood in? And that can also tell you a lot about it. The last significant floods in the 2000s would start with Allison in 2001. Then we had Ike, we had Rita, we had Katrina, then we had a tax day, Memorial Day. We recently had Hurricane Beryl. Of course, Harvey was in 2017. A lot of Houston flooded in 2017. Some houses that were 50 plus years old that had never flooded before, flooded in Harvey because of the dam release. That is going to have to be up to you if you're okay with buying a house that only flooded in the dam release. I will make a much more in-depth video in the future on the pros and cons, if there's any pros, I guess. So it does flood, and it will flash flood also. If we get a deluge, a 30-minute like absolute, as my grandmother said, a frog strangler. So if we get like 3 inches of rain in 3 hours, the underpasses will be flooded and the feeder roads will flood. We call them feeder roads here, not frontage roads. So the feeder roads will fill up and some lower spots will also retain water. So if you're moving to Houston and you have a low rider or you have a low riding car, you have like a small Lexus or like a Civic, just know that you might have a hard time getting around. If there's an absolute deluge, you'll have to stay put. I drive an SUV. I do feel safer in an SUV in high water. I am more likely to go through water in my SUV than I would have in my car. Uh, Houston is not walkable. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but Houston's not walkable. It is walkable in some areas like Montrose, the Heights, some parts of River Oaks, some parts of the old wards. Cottage Grove is slightly walkable, but only within these small communities. You cannot really walk from the Galleria to Spring Branch. I mean, you could, but there's not going to be any sidewalks. There will be sidewalks, but not consistent sidewalks. And it's just not a pedestrian friendly city. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I don't make the rules. I'm just telling you, if you live in another major city, highly likely that your city is walkable in areas. Houston's just not. So please don't expect to be able to walk places unless you live in Montrose, the Heights, some parts of River Oaks, Cottage Grove, some of the wards, a little bit of West U, maybe around Rice University. You can get away with walking places, but just know you'll either have to Uber or you'll have to have a car. I wouldn't move to Houston without a car. It's also not really bikeable. Houston has dumped a ton of money into making this city bikeable. And as a native Houstonian, I don't know that I really see that it's super bikeable. Now, there is a hike and bike trail in the Heights, which is highly used. I've biked this trail before. There are certain areas along Buffalo Bayou, which is just it's below I-10 and above 59. That is a bikeable area. You can bike some areas of downtown, some areas of the Heights, but as a general statement, it's not a very bike forward place to live. If you live near the med center and you're a medical resident, you could definitely bike. I've had listings before when I'm holding them open. I see people regularly biking in scrubs to and from the med center. So again, I don't make the rules. This is just how Houston is. Number 8. Okay, so Houstonians, by and large, are not public transport people. We don't really ride the metro. Now, there are people that ride the metro. They ride the bus. There's a metro line downtown. I'll say that my sphere of influence, my friends and family, when they're riding the metro, it's usually rodeo time, and they are riding the rail line from downtown to the stadium and then back out after the rodeo ends. That's the time that I personally will ride metro, but I have a car and I drive everywhere, and I have never in my life gotten on a metro bus. Now, if you are from Metro and you're watching this video, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say, but by and large, Houstonians don't really use public transport. We just don't. I don't really know what to tell you. We just don't. Number 9, Houstonians and Houston developers, we tear everything down and we rebuild. instead of refurbishing and repurposing, they just tear it down, scrape it off the earth, and start new. And as a person that is part of Preservation Houston and as is an old homes enthusiast, and I actually really specialize in houses built before 1970, it does greatly pain me and hurt my heart to see an old, beautiful house just completely bulldozed and razed to the ground, and then something brand new built. There's many ways that the world goes round, but Houston, you will see a lot of demolition. They're even trying to tear the Astrodome down. It's insane to me. There's an ongoing battle, and you can research it on your own, but there is an ongoing battle on whether or not they should tear down the Astrodome. And the Astrodome is something that put Houston on the map globally. And it is a globally recognized building. The only other globally recognized building in Texas is probably the Alamo and the Astrodome. So it is surprising. I think my friends and my clients that are not from Houston, I feel like I've heard feedback in the past that they can't believe that the amount of buildings we just tear down and start new. Okay, number 10 and number 11 are positives. So number 10, I consistently hear that people cannot believe how friendly Houstonians are. We are so friendly. I am not at home unless I can talk to the person in the grocery store line. Like today, I was at the grocery store and there was a shopper behind me and they had something interesting in their basket or buggy, whichever word you use. I use buggy. And I said, "Huh, what do you make with that?" And he told me, and that's normal to us. It's normal to talk to people in the grocery store, in the hardware store. It's normal. I don't really talk to people at gas stations, but it is normal in Texas and in the South in general for people to talk to other strangers. It would be not normal to me if someone didn't talk to me in a store. And then number 11 and final is how insanely good the food is. It's unbelievable. And I am thoroughly proud and ecstatic to tell you that we now have 6 Michelin star restaurants. I've been to almost all of them, I think, except 2. My favorite is Rumi's Kitchen. I've been to Rumi's at least 15 times since its opening. The food is really next level here. All of the people that moved to Houston, they all tell me they can't believe how good the food is. And I think they've all gained weight since they've moved to Houston. It's also really hot outside, per my previous comments. And we spend a lot of time indoors in the summertime. So if you come to Houston and you move here, there will be no shortage of amazing restaurants to visit, craft cocktails, whole like food experiences. I mean, I will make many more videos on my favorite restaurants because I'm a total food snob. We even have a winery here in Houston. It's called Nice Winery. You can be a member and they have lots of events that you can go to. So that's a fun newer thing here in Houston. They didn't always have that, but probably in the last 5 years, they've really taken off. So these are the most surprising things to people when they come to Houston. And I hope this video has given you a better idea on what to expect when you move to Houston. And if you found this video because you're figuring out where to live and how to navigate Houston ahead of a move, reach out and let me help you find your way. And once again, my name is Mariam Hejazi. I have been helping people buy and sell residential real estate for over 12 years, and I have been loving Houston since 1987. Like and subscribe for more content like this from your favorite expert native Houstonian realtor, and comment below if you have more specific questions about Houston, and I will try to answer them. I probably have an answer for sure. Yeah. If I don't know the answer, I'll figure it out. All right. See you on the next one. Bye.